Good evening, everybody. It's been a busy day yet again today for the Nomad family. I've just taken Buddy out for a wander. We've had a little bit of a chill out day, I say. It's been a bit busy. We're looking at a new way of bringing our sovereign family tribe together a bit better. So I've been working on that today. I just wanted to come on and kind of say something. I think some of you have seen my posts, and I'm sure that my Facebook feed is kind of the same as most of yours, where it's just a sea of green at the minute. Um, but with all of the petitions, with all of the this and that and the other, and it's all good and well. Petitions are all good and well. They're still designed by the system. And I ended up getting not into an argument, but a little bit of a debate last night with somebody that say, that they've seen our post and, we're living free and congratulations to us and all the rest of it. And, but I think they miss, and a lot of people do, I think a lot of people miss the point that everything we do in life is a choice. When they say, oh yeah, you haven't got a house, so you don't pay for a mortgage, you don't do this, you don't do that, you can, jump to another country whenever you want to jump to a country. Yes, we can. And the reason we can is because we choose to do that. We choose not to have a mortgage. We chose not to have a full-time address. We choose to go to a different country if we want to go to a different country. Everything is about a choice. The whole sovereign way of life is about choices. It's not being forced. It's not being stuck in fear. It's not, having to put up posts all the time to say, this affects everybody. All right, yeah, okay, it may affect everybody. Everybody that's in the system, everybody that believes in the system. And by definition, if you believe that signing a petition will make a change, you are essentially saying the system isn't broken and the system works, because what is the petition? It's the system, isn't it? So you're basically begging the system to say, oh, please, I don't want to do this time. That's essentially what everybody's doing, what nobody gets. If you want out of systems, if you want a better life, you have to create it. It's kind of, I've been going round and round in circles in my own head saying, am I not explaining this right? What people will pick up things in their own time. But I think, and this is my honest opinion here, I think there are so many people that not only just don't get the situation, that don't really understand what sovereignty is, that don't really understand what freedom really is, and definitely don't know or don't understand how to get to the point where you can be free. Everything is choice. If your husband or you work, that's your choice. You choose to work at that location. There is nothing stopping anybody leaving that job and finding another one, or finding another one before you leave that job that is maybe remote work that gives you the option to travel, to move around, to not be stuck in one place. There is options to not have a mortgage. You can sell your house. There's plenty of people that have sold their house and gone traveling. There are plenty of people that give up their house, rent it out and go traveling, so you've got an income. There are plenty of people that taken their children out of school. You know, everything that you do is your own choice. It's a choice. We choose to give up everything. We chose to give up the house. We chose to take Dylan out of school. You know, I choose not to work for anybody else apart from myself. Um, I choose to do what I do. We choose to do what we do because it fits our lifestyle, because we want freedom. I choose, you know, not to conform to a lot of the systems. We chose to move outside of the systems. Um, you know, if you're watching us and you're literally saying to me, you know, I'm watching all of your videos and that's great for you. Well, why can't it be great for you? If you want to live a life of freedom, then live a life of freedom. It is down to you to choose whether you want to. Yes, I guess it can be harder if you've got a bigger family of 5 or, you know, whatever it may be. But ultimately, you choose to live that way. You choose to live in fear. You choose to think that you can't do what many people do. You know, we are showing everybody that this choice that we chose is open to everybody. You can live a life the way you want to. You can live a life of traveling. You can live a life of, you know, if you want to stay in the same place, stay in the same place. You know, that is your choice, isn't it? You know, there's no point in saying, you know, a lot of people don't have that luxury. Everybody has the luxury. We all had the luxury before we got conned into systems. You know, before passports were brought in, before birth certificates were brought in, you know, I can go way, way, way back and talk you all through the systems that I've already written about in a lot of my books. You know, I unravel all of the systems and how they were implemented and how they trapped us and how to get out of them. You know, so if it if you want out, you can get out. And it's very easy to kind of follow a blueprint. Hence the reason why I write the books. And I don't write them out of fiction, they are non-fiction books. I write them out of use cases, out of our own lived experiences. You know, we have done these things. That's why I write about them, because we have got the knowledge about them. You know, it's not made up fluff, you know. You might see a lot of books out there that are, they might give you a little bit of insight into things. They may give you some tips, but not exactly how to do it. Whereas I do, because we've done it, you know. You know, my whole kind of philosophy on all of this is, you know, I want to help people. I genuinely want to help people, but it doesn't help me when people don't want to help themselves. You know, I'm giving you tools to follow in our footpath. I'm giving you tools to help you walk away from the systems that you are consistently complaining about on Facebook. I am, you know, giving you the tools to help you out of a situation, to build wealth, to move out of the tax systems, to not have to worry about, you know, it skipped my mind now. Not worry about, you know, having to hand anything down to your children. You know, in case of the inheritance tax is what I was trying to say. You know, I'm giving you options out of all of that you won't have to worry about it. So you know, if you I just can't. Sometimes it kind of it does frustrate me, because you throw everything back in my face but agree with what I'm saying. So if you agree with what I'm saying, why don't you listen to what we're saying? You know, I don't know. I know you can't kind of help everybody. Everybody's got to come to their own decision in their own terms. But you know, sometimes there's got to be a little give somewhere, because you can't just keep rocking up and saying that, yeah, it's fantastic for us because we've, you know, got the opportunity to do it. We've only got the opportunity to do this and live the way we do because we chose to make a change. You have to choose to make a change. If you're never going to make a change in your life, if you are going to sit there, consistently posting on Facebook, "Oh, I'm fed up with the way this system works. The system's broke. Let's sign this petition, and if the petition goes through, we'll get out of the system." No, you won't. The system was completely designed to keep you trapped, and if you can't see that, you're failing at the first hurdle in Frank. Um, in frank terms, you are already failing at the first hurdle because you are still believing in the system that you are saying is broken. Um, I just I'm sorry if I'm rambling on a bit tonight. I've just kind of had, it's just, I don't know, sometimes it frustrates me. As you know, guys, we come on and we say what we say, and I am real. I'm a Taurian, and I'm like a bull in a china shop sometimes, and I understand that. But we talk real, and our whole philosophy within the Sovereign Family Tribe is real talk. We talk about real issues, we talk about real problems, we try to talk about real solutions. But some people just can't accept that. Maybe it's jealousy, maybe it's lack of confidence in themselves, which is totally understandable. I do understand that. If you're not confident that you can live like us, I understand that. If you're not confident about how to go forwards, I understand that. If you're not comfortable about how to move forward, I understand that. We've been there. We understand the whole process of everything. Hence why we've been writing, I've been writing these books. So everybody else doesn't have to have that fear, have that worry of not knowing what to do next. I'm laying things out for everybody that wants to get out of systems. And it's just kind of frustrating. I guess it's just kind of gets frustrating when people kind of try and fire me and say, it's all right for you, as if like I'm keeping up with the Joneses. I'm as far away from keeping up the Joneses as you could possibly be. I'm running away from the Joneses, not trying to keep up with them. I live my life the way I live it, and well, I should say we live our life the way we live it, because we don't want to live like the Joneses, and that's the whole point, isn't it? Um, the companies we're building, they are sovereign companies. um, they are completely sovereign companies. We are not bound by jurisdictions as such. We are in, how can I put it, tax efficient countries. The systems that we're building for Guardian's Tribe, for Nomad Family, because Nomad Family is actually a limited company. It is a business. It is our business. They are generational companies. They are designed to be handed down through our bloodline, because we can do that. When we work outside of the systems, we can do things like that. We can leave it to our children without their inheritance tax, without any other complications, because we design it the way we want to design it. So our family does benefit from that, whether it be a house, whether it be a business, whether it be savings, whether it be precious metals, whether it be cryptocurrency. We can design whatever we want to. It's up to us to choose how we want to do it. I can't emphasize as much as it's our choice to do what we want. And it literally does work like that, as long as you know what you're doing. So anyway, guys, that's a bit of a rant. I've been on a bit of a rant tonight. It's not often that I kind of get a bee in my bonnet, but I'm just sick of seeing a tide of green on profiles and friends' Facebooks that say they are awake, they know what's going on, but yet there's this sea of green that really means they don't understand what's going on at all. And they have no idea of how to get out of systems, even though they claim they are out of systems and they don't conform to anything. One thing I said to Sam tonight actually is, if I can put this as plain as possible, if you are, let's use this term awake, because this is the kind of buzzword at the moment, isn't it? If you are awake and you are sovereign, because people don't really truly understand what sovereign means. So if you are awake and you are sovereign, for an example, and you think that the answer to being sovereign is to non-conform to everything, to rebel to everything, what you're essentially doing is putting you into a box, and every time you refuse to do something, that box gets smaller. So say you refuse for the digital ID, your box gets smaller. And this is not to say, by the way, that now the government knows exactly who signed that petition. So potentially you're a target, if they want you to be. So if you sign that, and now the government knows you are officially fighting the establishment. If you choose to conform to go through the airport scanners, your box gets smaller, you can't go. And by the way, this is not to say that if you choose to conform to the digital ID once it comes out, we already know it's going to be attached to work and everything else, and pay and benefits and everything else. How small is your box going to be once you keep fighting all of them, all of these things that you're fighting a losing battle, really, and your box is going to be so small you can't even get out your front door by the time you finish. When you see the likes of us are living free, doing whatever we want, whenever we want, traveling wherever we want to, because we are not fighting the systems. We are not putting up gameplays against the system. We are not fighting. We've left the battlefield. The battle's over there. Sorry, Buddy is just trying to wrap me up in circles. The battle's over there. We're walking completely opposite way because we know it doesn't affect us. We've chosen not to embark in this battle. We have chosen not to give it our energy, not to give it the drama, because every time everyone gets involved and shares, it is sharing drama. It is sharing fear, because you're promoting fear of, if this comes in, this is what is going to happen. And people then start to live in perpetual fear because of what essentially it can do, rather than sharing ways of not being attacked, or not having to comply to it in the first place. Sorry, you can see my passion for it, can't you? I am very passionate about trying to help people, and I guess some people just can't be helped sometimes, and that I get that, and that's the way it is. But things will never change. Let me leave on this note. Look at this beautiful sunset behind me. Look, beautiful sunset again, out here in the forest, living free. So let me leave you on this little nugget of knowledge. Everything is about choice. You get to choose how you live your life. If you want change, you have to be the change. There is no other option. You have to be the change. You have to make those decisions that change your life. The government can't make them for you, because you are a sovereign being. The government can't make them for you. You have to make those changes yourself. Whether family like it or not, there's been a lot of posts about breaking generational curses. I've seen a lot of that recently. If you can continue doing what you're doing, you're not breaking the generational curses, because you are still attached to everything that those generational curses are attached to. You're not breaking the chains. You break the chains by breaking the mold. You only break the mold when you step out and start doing things yourself and choosing differently than the generations before you chose. Yeah, you understand? Right, anyway, guys, I've waffled on enough, and I didn't want this to be a depressing talk, actually, but I felt a lot of this needed to I needed to get things off my chest tonight, to be fair. Love and light to you all, guys. Please, take what I'm, just listen to what I'm saying. Let it sink in, and think about things. I'm not telling you to, kind of be with the Joneses. I'm not telling you to say that, oh wow, look at me and look at us and look at what we're doing. I'm not trying to rub any salt into any wounds. I'm telling you because we can genuinely help you. You know, and yeah, anyway, it is what it is. I'll digress because otherwise I'll go on all night. But anyway, guys, love and light to you all. Look after yourselves and each other. And I promise you, tomorrow's talk will be a little bit more on a lighter note because I've got some things planned. So love and light, guys. Take care. Bye bye.